Hi, I'm Mike Null. Today is Friday, September 27th, 2024. Today, I want to start with the idea that you're most productive when you're the least busy. What I mean to say here is that the actions that you do that create the most value usually happen when you're not doing the repetitive, busy tasks that make up most of your day. I'm not encouraging anyone to slack off or be lazy, quite the contrary. So there's a couple of principles that I'm going to talk about here. One is the Pareto Principle, and this is something we use in root cause analysis. This asserts that a critical few categories account for the majority of your problems. We often call this the 80-20 rule because they say 80% of your problems come from 20% of your categories. Those numbers are often true, but it's really a generalization. But flip this around. 80% of your benefits come from 20% of your categories. And here's my assertion. 80% of the value you create, more or less, comes from roughly 20% of your effort and time. Another principle I want to talk about is Stephen Covey's time management matrix from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Here's my copy. It's a great book. It's been around a while. I'll probably reread this to sharpen the saw, so to speak. Anyway, this time management matrix was something that I could immediately put to use as soon as I read about it, and it has been super valuable to me over the years. So the idea is you have a 2x2 matrix divided between urgent and not urgent, important and not important. And he numbers the quadrants 1 to 4. So number 1 is your urgent, important. This is like fighting fires. This is the hot tasking. And quadrant 2 is important but not urgent. So I think of this as the fire prevention. And Covey in his book says the more time that you can spend in quadrant 2 than your quadrant 1, the fires, the urgent taskings will shrink and you'll be more productive. So what does this look like in practice for me? The firefighting, the hot tasking was answering customer complaints or addressing issues where our company sent out non-conforming product. We had to do a lot of work. We were under a time constraint. We had to get a tiger team together, and it felt like these problems were just coming out of nowhere, but really, problems don't come out of nowhere. They were just under the radar. So we're doing these, addressing these issues as they come up, and hopefully we're preventing them. And that does create some value. But let's look at the opposite. When we're doing improvement projects that prevent these problems or save money, we have time to work through those methodically without any sense of urgency, and then we can do it right. We can analyze data and look for other opportunities for improvement. But I'll tell you, my favorite way of this fire prevention is when I'm walking down the hall and somebody says, "Hey, Mike, I got something I want to talk to you about. I got something I want to show you." And this might lead to a quick fix. It might lead to a project. And a lot of times I can connect them with somebody who's been working on this or has already solved the same problem. Fire averted. But to be able to do this, I had to build credibility and relationships with these people by engagement. So the time that I spent engaging and getting to know people and just listening to them, being a person, having a cup of coffee, that it earned the company more value than working this high profile customer complaint. So what would this look like if you were an assembly worker? So you've got your assembly station, you're putting products together, you're shipping them off to the next station, and the more that you can just put things together and move it down, the more value you're creating. But let's say you have a slowdown, you're waiting for a critical part, or you might take 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of a day. You can do a 5 S, a quick 5S on your station. And these S's, this is a standard thing. Look it up if you're not familiar with it. Sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. So that's going to help you put out your product even faster. So you'll see an even bigger savings in time at the end of the day or a week than the 5 or 10 minutes that you invested at the beginning. So also look around for safety hazards. Sometimes people call this the 6th S. If you can save somebody from getting a cut or an injury, you can't put dollar value on that, but that's worth something. So think in terms of a software developer. You're a software developer, you're bashing out the code, and you've got your headphones on, nobody's bothering you, and you're putting out the modules and the working code, one thing after another, and it's great. But what if you took a few minutes to review the coding standard with your team every once in a while? Or what if you could teach or learn something that helps your team reduce technical debt down the road? There's some value created. Going forward, I've talked about reactive and proactive work. So reactive would be like responding to emails, taking and executing, tasking, fighting fires, stuff like that. These are things that are high profile, and they make you look busy, and your boss is going to notice it and give you praise for it, and this is a good thing. But proactive work, on the other hand, that's looking for problems, doing the prevention, organizing, learning, teaching. These, I assert, are the things that create the most value. And recognition and value, back to the firefighting metaphor. If a fireman saves somebody from a burning building, he's going to be noticed and recognized and praised for that. And that's great. But I haven't asked any firemen, but I really believe that they would rather take the time and teach you about fire safety and remind you to replace your smoke alarm battery than drag you out of a burning building. So the prevention is the more valuable thing. I want to let you know, I'm on YouTube as Quality Mike 84, and I'm probably going to put this on LinkedIn first. And if you're on LinkedIn, if you're in the Northeast DFW area, drop me a message. Tell me if you like the video. Maybe we can get together for a cup of coffee. You can teach me a little bit about your organization. Maybe we can do a project together. Maybe we can just hang out for a while. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye.